What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is November the 13th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off for data points, big one to watch for today is CPI. So that's coming out at 8:30. And the reason why that is going to be a big one is because the market is very overbought. So essentially, they're going to be looking for any sign of weakness, whether it be on an individual level for a company or on a larger side, which obviously CPI would encumber. So yeah, that one's going to be a big one. Even if it comes in line with expectation, I feel like that could cause and prompt a sell-off. So kind of just stay tuned for that. And this is why you had a lot of volatility yesterday. Just last minute fears, of course. And right now, futures are slightly red, improving from what they were. NASDAQ down 0.22, S&P down 0.12, and Dow is down 0.17. Although fear and greed index is under the greed category, so if CPI does come in very, very good, then you could see a continuation. Was it FOMO 5.0 or 6.0? Just another secondary run. So yeah, could make for a very interesting day. So nonetheless, starting off, Sofi is pulling down slightly, just piggybacking with the broader market. No actual news today so far. We'll just wait and see if they do put it out. They like to put out news around that 9:30 mark, so that's a good couple hours away. Right now, though, Sofi is just following its technicals. Shorts didn't really do all that much yesterday, and so we'll have to wait and see if they're just waiting for CPI to pounce. But 14.58% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 155.27 million shares. Generally speaking, though, shorts have been returning quite a lot, so they have been feeling the pain. Still, given the circumstances, there's still $2.15 billion of shorts in Sofi. So kind of crazy stuff. But right now, with it at 1378 pre-market, trading between this R3 and this R2. So it's kind of been trading within that range for the last several trading days. $13.69 is going to be that kind of strong support. So definitely watch for it to hold today. Then 14.59 is going to be that next strong kind of target / resistance. Aside from that, just 13.12, 12.22 are going to be following support levels. I don't see those being touched whatsoever. So I think today it might just continue to flirt with this R2, and then dependent on CPI, I feel it is going to come in line with expectations, so probably it'll trade between this R2 and R1, but what do I know, right? Moving on, Rocket Lab had very good earnings, so it is up 24.83% this morning. And to make things even better, shorts have been kind of increasing / maintaining their position for the greater part of the last 2 months. So they're about to get royally screwed. 17.56% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 59.74 million shares. This is what the earnings did come in as. So beat on earnings per share, revenue, and from what I can see on posts, I think they did fairly good for future guidance. So yeah, definitely very, very good stuff. And it's above all the key fib levels, so I'm not necessarily going to go over that because aside from even their earnings, it has ran up a lot. So over the last 1 month, up 48.38%. Over the last 5 days, up 8.67%. And that's not even encumbering that 24%. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting day. Moving on, so Spirit. Save. This one is down 70%, largely because of a rumor coming from the Wall Street Journal saying that they are going bankrupt. Chapter 7. As far as us, what we were aware of, they were just kind of reorganizing. So that is still bankruptcy, but it is Chapter 11. They did actually put out news last night, 6:49, saying that they have been working with the super majority of the note holders and I guess the discussions and negotiations remain productive. So meaning it's still essentially on the table. They did submit this form right here saying that their Q3 earnings is going to be delayed due to obviously the attention to negotiations and whatever else. In my opinion, this reminds me of exactly what happened with Fisker. Fisker said the exact same thing, and roughly like a week later, they did file for Chapter 7. So I think just Wall Street is reading between the lines and saying, nope, screw this, it's not worth it. So yeah, they want to get out because 9 times out of 10, or pretty much 10 times out of 10, common shareholders don't get jack all. So that's why it is going down. When it comes down to this company, it is on the threshold list, very heavily shorted, and rightfully so, right? If a company goes belly up, they pretty much get like 100%, like it's an easy win for them. So 33.1% of the free float is being shorted. I'm not going to go over the fib levels because I think that, like, given the circumstances of this company, it's not advantageous to buy it. But what do I know, right? I'm not a financial advisor, so you guys do your own whatever floats your boat. So if you want to buy it, then have at it. But yeah, I think there's just way too much risk associated to that. Rivian. So Rivian did a surprise special call yesterday. So I posted that under Financial Journey, one of my other channels. And yeah, so they did launch the whole joint venture with Volkswagen. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a big thing for Rivian. So it is up 8.41%, showing some signs of life. And not only that, though, it's kind of reviving the EV sector, which has largely been pushing back. So there's a lot of good volume getting into even Lucid, for instance, and some other EVs. So yeah, I think that's kind of a good thing. Random surprise. I don't know why they didn't necessarily bring that up during their actual earnings, which was less than a week ago. But again, what do I know? It is somewhat heavily shorted, so 18.05% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be $134.26 million. That does equate to $1.42 billion in shorts in Rivian. Right now, if you're looking at trading it though, with it at 11.44, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. Pre-market, it was kind of bouncing off of this R3, so just watch for it to get above that point. 11.23 is going to be the following support, 10.91, and then 10.38. So in my opinion, I think it is going to pull back, possibly, of course, with CPI, but I think it is going to pull back to this R2, and if this R2 doesn't hold, or there's not a lot of good support, then trade between this R2 and this R1. Rivian has done these spikes in the past where it just crazily goes up, but it usually is short-lived. So a lot of individuals, even like myself, last time, even when this news was announced about the whole Volkswagen kind of deal, it ran up like a madman, and a lot of people shorted it, including, like I said, myself. And so Rivian does a lot of these spikes, but like I said, just they usually do dwindle out. So I think probably shorts will be pouncing all over Rivian, in my opinion. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all does play out. I'm not going to be shorting it this time. I'm just going to be watching it, because I think CPI is going to be the bigger thing out of everything to drive it higher or lower. Moving on, so down 8.92%, ticker MARA. They did have their earnings. They missed on revenue by 12.7 million. And it looks like they did beat on earnings per share. Don't know much for future guidance, but clearly the market doesn't really like it all that much. It is heavily shorted, so 24.2% of the free float is being shorted. So they have definitely felt the pain over the last little bit, but 69.67% of the free float is being shorted. But if you are looking at trading it, with it at $23 and change, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 22.69 will be the strong support. 24.09 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. So in my opinion, I feel like this is one of those stocks that will get bought up only because of the kind of FOMO associated to crypto. So yeah, I could see it getting bought up. I don't know if it'll have enough to get above this pivot point or just kind of flirt with it throughout the day. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, this is kind of what big money is doing today with all these stocks. A couple other ones as well getting abnormal amount of volume, but these are some of the key ones that I wanted to bring up. With all that, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. 2 things I want to share with you. Take advantage of this promo because it gives you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. And then aside from that though, I did launch memberships. So if you want buy signals on stocks and options, you can definitely take a look at that, or just take a look at my Patreon. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.